Today's video involves real-world statistical realities for the Honda Prologue. How fast does it charge and how long does it stay there? What is a road trip really like? So the GPS gave me directions to a Hyundai dealership instead of where I wanted to go. How many miles can it go at 70 miles an hour? And is EV route planning really as hard as people make it seem? Stay tuned for the conclusion. I'll address it all right here today. Subscribe, smash the like, and let's take a road trip. Hey everybody, it's the night before a big road trip, and I just want to show you how easy it is to do this planning that you have to do to own an EV. Here it is in real time. R1S demo drive. Here's your address. You click on it. It goes to Google. I look at Google. It says where I'm at. I'm going to go ahead and hit directions. It's going to pull up the directions for where I'm going. It says 3 hours and 1 minute. I need to add 30 minutes to that because I am not a driver of regular speed. I'm grandpa. 60 miles an hour. But I'm also going to be making some drastic elevation changes. Keep that in mind. It says it's going to be ready by 5:45 a.m. tomorrow, but I don't leave until 11:30 to get there by 3 o'clock because I'm not going to stop on the way there. But I do drive slower than the GPS, which told me 3 hours. So I always add 30 minutes to that. Let's go ahead and see what we can do. Charge later. Cannot charge to 100% by selected time. I want it to be your vehicle will determine the best time to start charging so it's ready by the selected time. I want it to be ready by 11:30 a.m. Preconditioning 72 degrees. We might as well do that too. Let's find out what happens if I plug that in. All right, plugged in, charge cord connected, power off. We'll charge to 100% by 11:30 a.m. Monday. Let's find out. We'll come back. But we're just going to assume it will. All right, here we are in a better route planner. I've got my old Model Y as the default. We've got to change that. I also need to put in the address. Let's get the address right first, and then we can change the vehicle. Select a new car. Let's see if they've added the Prologue. They have not. Next, I got to find the closest thing to it, which is the Chevy Blazer EV LT E all-wheel drive. I do not have an NACS adapter. Well, let's just hit the plan and see what happens. If it adds a charge stop, I got to adjust some things. It has added a charge stop at EV Connect. I will never use an EV Connect, so unfortunately, that's got to go. Let's try to take the charger off. I took it off just for this trip. It didn't remove. I don't know what's going on here. Let's just hit restart. Let's change it to 100% with a 15% state of charge at arrival. There's our route without any charging stops. 2 hours, 53 minutes. But obviously that's not the entire route that I'm going to be on for the day, so I need to add a waypoint of my current position as an end point as well, so let's do that. It should have me charging a couple different times, which it does. It says Electrify America, Westfield, Wheaton, Silver Spring, Maryland. So that's where I'm going to need to find my charger. At 14%, we can do a 4% buffer one way or the other. That should get me to the charger around 10%. But I've got all that free EV Go money that's going to expire in 3 years, so I might as well try to use it all. So let's head to the EV Go app. I'm looking for Silver Spring, Maryland. Let's type that in. Found an Albertsons. It's got 350s. There's one there, Prexus, that looks like it does work. That's a 350 because someone's using it right now. That's going to be our guy. And two 100 kilowatts if we have to use those. Screenshot the address. And now we have our final task, which would be sending it to the car. I'm going to open up my Honda Link app and hit refresh, which does take a second. There we are. Charge scheduled 100% by 11:30 a.m. today because it is after midnight. So all I have to do now is plug that same location in, 8787 Snouffer. Looks to me like we're probably in the right place. Zoom out, we got Washington. That's the guy. Send to car. Sending to car. Sent to car. When I get in the car tomorrow, I should have a 100% charge and the destination in my GPS. And I was able to calculate the entire situation with 4 minutes of video time, which is actually about 11 minutes of real time. So Gas Car is leading currently by 11 minutes. All right, here we are, next day. It's exactly 11:30, and I'm walking out to the car. And it says 73%. So it mistimed, but we got to get on the road. Now that I don't have 100% charge, I had 73. I have to charge in order to get where I'm going. I wasn't going to have to, but 15% was going to be my arrival, and I'm 27% short of the charge that I was supposed to have. So the plan now is to switch from 60 to 70, so this will be a 70 mile an hour range test. So in order to get to the destination at the time that I planned, I'm going to have to stop and charge at the first available charger for the 30-minute buffer that I gave myself to make it there on time. So this will be a true 70 mile an hour real world range test. That being said, let's get all those stats out of the way. 73 degrees Fahrenheit, kind of optimal traveling weather, especially for the climate. I'm heading to a charge point. Now, I don't have to plan this because I'm familiar with the trip, but in the event that you were going to, you could use PlugShare, you could use a better route planner, you could use any of your individual apps. But I know that there is nothing but charge point in my area on this route until you get to Hagerstown. And I don't want to risk making it to Hagerstown. I only have 210 miles of range predicted. So in the event you don't plan to go on an EV road trip, you can still do it. All you have to do is make sure you give yourself a 30-minute buffer to get started to get wherever you're going on time. And that's what we've given ourselves today. Finally, when I hit send to car last night, it did not send to car. So we've learned a lesson there as well. Let's do an example of how quickly this charging thing can be done. I'm going to disengage my cruise. I am 1 mile from the Friendsville exit. Some of the advantages of the Friendsville charger are that it's right off the interstate, as you can see, but also another big advantage is this Friendsville DC charger only charges 33 cents per kilowatt hour. Now remember, I didn't look at any map or check to see if they were available. I just know these are usually available. And then one more cheat code, because we're in the middle of the afternoon on a Monday.
In 500 feet, make a U-turn.
I'll make a U-turn right now. And I know that I'll be able to get in and out of here, so I'm just going to pull straight up to the side like so. Let's show you how hard this is. Next, hop out of the car and we will double tap. And I got charge point selected, charge point. That was how hard that was. Let me grab the handle. Since I'm really close, I can just come straight over, open it up, take my CCS out, and plug it in. Now we can look at some data. We've got 14.7 kilowatt hours used, and that was a lot for what I normally do.
60 miles an hour.
Looks like the charging has started. 19, 22, 24, 22, 23, 24. There's a little bit of a ramp. We'll probably go to 55 and eventually 56 or 7. 59, 60. I can't complain about that. Next thing I need to do is come over here to the GPS, and I'm going to dismiss the welcome to Maryland. Thank you. It welcomes you to every state. Remove stop. All right, there it is. 152 miles.
87 Snowfir School Road is out of battery range.
So it says it's out of battery range. I got negative 16%. So I'm probably just going to charge to 80. As soon as it says 3 o'clock, we're going to unplug. There it is. Let's go unplug. And in order to do that, I actually forgot. You got to go home. Charging, stop charge, stop charge. There's the click. Undo that. Make sure you get your EV80Kit sticker at ev80kit.com. I'm going to switch this back to charge now. We'll switch this back to 80 in case I forget later. I don't think we'll need to go over 80 today, but we did make it to 80 right now. My GPS says 8% when I get there, 3:01 p.m. Let's get out of here. We just got our first window of data for 70 mile per hour range and 166.8 miles traveled, 2.7 miles per kilowatt hour, and 59.3 kilowatt hours. 167.0 miles. There is your 70 mile per hour range test part 1. I'd say 95% of that drive was 70 miles an hour. Only when there was traffic I couldn't do it, and that was really about it. So here I am after my Rivian test drive, and make sure you subscribe because there's an extremely big surprise coming when I release that test drive video. You literally can't miss it. But here I am trying to go to that Albertsons in Silver Spring to test the 350
kilowatt charger. The problem is the Prologue wants me to charge before I get there, and I don't notice that right away.
Hey Google, navigate to 116 University Boulevard West, Silver Spring, Maryland.
Okay, 116 University Boulevard West. Here we go.
So the GPS gave me directions to a Hyundai dealership instead of where I wanted to go. So now I have to decide how to get home some other way. Clarksburg has an EA station, and that's at least on my way home. So we're going to try that now instead. I'm going to run out of battery if I don't stop messing up. After driving around the Clarksburg Premium Outlets all the way to the back, I found an EA station. Let's plug it in and see what happens. And we just hit the thing. It says plug in to start. Let's see what happens. Okay, we're plugged in. Connecting the vehicle. Card does not exist. Okay. So we'll just go to our Visa card and double click to pay. Okay, processing again. Approved. Authorized. It is 8/29. 77, 81, 86, 91, 96, 102, 108, 137, 145. That is excellent. That is maximum speed. We will stay here until that doesn't happen anymore. Let's see how it works out. It says 31 minutes left until 80. If that's true, I'm staying here. It's expensive, but I'll just stay here anyway. But in the meantime, let's find out what we have to do to get to Hagerstown. All right, so there's the D rate. 43 kilowatts at 64%. I don't know if you can see, 64%. So it's time to go. We're going to Hagerstown. I've got 32% negative till I get home, but I got 39% arriving at the Chick-fil-A right beside that EV Go. So we are going right now.
And this is my first deep charge in the Prologue at a 350 kilowatt stall. And what it tells me is I was able to get 45 kilowatt hours before I got derated. It could be a specified time, it could be a specified amount, or it could be a thermal issue. Either way, the car has done it. And what we need to know is how far did we get in the charging session before it happened? And the answer on this charging session is 45 kilowatt hours. Let's multiply that by our 2.7 miles per kilowatt hour that we've currently gotten at 70 miles an hour. And this is how much you can get at max speed at an EA 350 in the real world. 23 minutes is 0.38 of an hour, so 45.3 divided by 0.38 of an hour is 118 kilowatts, which isn't bad.
So I've been to that EV Go station in Hagerstown, and the only thing I remember about it, other than the fact that it's an EV Go and it's in Hagerstown, is that there was a Chick-fil-A beside of it. So I just found that Chick-fil-A and navigated to it. I checked it on the map to make sure that there was an EV Go beside it. I saw it, and I'm heading that way. Whereas when I was leaving the Rivian Center and I just said to navigate to an address in Silver Spring, I didn't check where it was going. So we're going to see if my in-car navigation will fail me twice on this trip. Okay, here we are at the EV Go. 2 350s, 2 Delta 100s. Let's see if any of them are online.
And as we can see, only one CCS plug is active at the Hagerstown EV Go. And yes, I have reported this problem to EV Go more than 5 times over the last 4 months. And they have gotten back to me saying that it's a parts issue and they don't have parts. So if they're going to open 400 new units in urban areas, why don't they have parts for their old units?
All right, so this ANCA unit is the only one that the app says is working. I have Auto Charge Plus. I shouldn't have to do anything if this charger indeed does work. Let's find out. Connected. Payment has been authorized. It immediately authorized the payment, and now we just wait for the ramp up. The EVgo says connecting to your vehicle. There it goes. It says I'm at 50%, 9:46 p.m. Home is 14% away. So we need to charge until that says something closer to 10%, but probably 20. And I'm about to do something I've never done at a DC fast charger, and that is turn it off and walk away. Here we go. Wish me luck.
10 minutes later.
All right, extremely quickly, I just did Chick-fil-A, and it's literally right over there. And that's definitely an advantage to the Hagerstown charger. Right now it says home is 0%, but once again, we are above 60, so pack voltage is higher, which means charging is faster. My opinion on the Prologue is if you can find a 350, plug it in, and the minute it dips below 100, it's probably time to go, because right after I dipped to 100, I was very quickly moved to 60 and then 39, I think was around what I had when I left. So this is a splash and dash car. But while I was at Electrify America, it went to a 150 and it stayed there basically the whole time I was there. So I got a really good charge. I just couldn't go all the way to 80. And now I'm at 100 kilowatt finishing the job. And remember, Google is super conservative. So right now it says 2% home, but I've done this trip before. This is enough to get home right now, 2%.
5 minutes later.
10:06, it says 9%. As soon as that goes over to 10, there it goes, 10%. So I think that's going to be good to take off from this charger for right now. It says 214 and I'm at 138. So that should be enough. We're going to go 70 miles an hour. Let's do it. Home. Charging. Charging. Stop charge. Stop charge. And let's get going. It is 10:07. All right, 70 miles an hour. 69 miles left to go. We've got a 12% arrival. Things are looking good.
Future me here, I make a mistake in just a few minutes, so these numbers are important.
Vehicle status. There's your nerd numbers. 2.5 miles per kilowatt hour at 70 so far for this trip. All right, here we are, Friendsville, half a mile. We're gonna stop here just to fix the GPS. What I've realized between the time that they took me to the wrong place and now is that my GPS settings are all default, and I want to see if I can fine-tune them a little bit, and might as well do that while I'm in the car. And if I'm in the car, I might as well spend that time charging. That is the ABC method. Always be charging. Same method. Swing it in. Pull up directly beside it so there's not even any reversing. Here we go, real time, park, power button, get out. Oh, I hope it didn't take my data away. Let's see. Let's see if it did. If I go to home, vehicle status, energy usage.
In 300 feet, make a U-turn.
Yep, it's gone. Don't clear your data. There we go. And just walk up to it, and that's as hard as that is. All right, let's fix that GPS, shall we? I've got my navigation put in. Let's go to settings. All right, EV payment filters. Common in United States, payment, EVgo, charge point, Electrify America. And that's it. That's all I ever want. That's really going to change my experience. We are already moving at 58 kilowatts. I'll wait for, it says 28%. And 12% arrival, so 30 would give me 14, so at 31% we'll get out of here. All right, it reads 16%. It is 11:50, and now all we got to do is go home, charging, charge, stop charge, stop charge. All right, since I lost about 30 miles of that trip, here's 21 more at 70 miles an hour. I wasn't even going to record this leg, but since I lost that other 30 miles, let's just go ahead and use this as well. There's a lot to learn here. At 70 miles an hour, we did 255.8 miles and used 95.5 kilowatt hours. Now, when exactly does it die? You can buy yourself a $50,000 Prologue and drastically negatively impact your own battery degradation if you want to find out exactly when it dies. My recommendation is don't ever run it to zero. But I will concede that today I didn't teach you exactly when the vehicle runs down to zero. In the event you used 85 kilowatt hours exactly in the Honda Prologue, that would get you 227.6 miles at 70 miles an hour in my part of the country, which is Appalachia, which is not the Rocky Mountains, but nothing to scoff at either. Lots of elevation change. What else did we learn? Don't trust your vehicle to charge by a certain time. Just plug it in and charge it to a certain number. I wanted to test that. I have a 24 amp level 2. That's slow, and I paid the price. Don't trust the send to car feature on the GPS. It has definitely worked before, but it did not for this trip. I had to re-enter the address. Don't trust the GPS if you have a long distance or you have a low state of charge, because it will add a charge stop and you won't realize you aren't going to your destination. You are going to a level 2 at a Hyundai dealership that's actually fully occupied anyway. And we also learned today that plans don't really matter. I spent time planning this trip, and when I woke up in the morning, all of my plans had to be redone. So planning the night before is good for research and you'll have more of an educated point of view, but don't expect your plans to go as planned. There's more data. My 185-mile trip to Gaithersburg took one 20-minute charge and cost $6.91. So I drove for 3 hours and 30 minutes, and 20 minutes of that was a break. I think you'll find at a regular job that's pretty close to what you get. Breaks are probably more like 15 minutes. Then I arrived at my destination, which you definitely need to subscribe because there's a huge surprise, and it has nothing to do with Rivian, but it's an even cooler EV than that. And after I finished at my destination, it was time to head home right around 7:30, 7:45 p.m. I went to Electrify America. I got there at 8:28. I left at 8:51. That was 23 minutes for $26.89. Then I drove to EVgo from 9:45 to 10:06. That was a total of 21 minutes, and I was able to eat during that time. I have free EVgo charging, so I didn't pay anything at that stop. Had I paid, it would have been $10.16. Next, as a buffer charge, and just so I could pull over and catch my wind to make sure I made it home safely and alertly, I charged for 5 minutes at ChargePoint between 11:45 and 11:50 p.m. for $1.49. It's kind of almost a tradition for me. Even in a Tesla, I always stop at Friendsville on the way home. My total cost was $35.29. My total driving was right around 370 miles. So that means I took 1 hour and 8 minutes of breaks for 8 hours of driving. That's 34 minutes every 4 hours or 17 minutes every 2 hours. And based on the way the Prologue charges, that's going to be your best bet. It's also our final conclusion. You can do about 50% of fast charging before it slows down. Also, an added bonus, if you stayed till the end, the reason why I didn't get to 100% in the morning was because my wife did some laundry before I left, and our dryer and EV charger share the same plug. So I'll have to give the scheduled charging another crack at it, but I think it still perfectly illustrates the don't expect your plan to go as planned conclusion. information. If there's any data that I missed or questions you'd like answered, that's why I make these videos. Let me know down in the comments below. Also, my next road trip probably won't be as hard because the rumor is the Tesla superchargers have opened for the Honda Prologue. You can check out my short on that theory, and of course, I'll be testing that in the future. If you want to learn more about the Prologue, I made an all things Prologue video. It explains why the Prologue charges slower, as well as all its features, why you should or shouldn't get it, and everything else in between. In fact, you can check it out now. Join Patreon or become a YouTube member for early access to videos, subscribe for more, and we'll see you on the next one.
Hey! Smash the like button!
Thank you.